So my name is Dennis, aka Sneaker Den on Instagram, and I've been into sneakers for about 4 or 5 years now. So my personal collection would be maybe 40 pairs, but like in my overall like archival collection that would be closer to 300, and it's mainly Dunks, Air Force Ones, and a few like Jordan 1s, Jordan 4s. I've been getting into Icecreams recently. What I like about Icecreams is like Nigo and Pharrell being involved. I feel like there's a huge nostalgia with like Bape and all that early 2000s era. Reebok was killing it, like they had Jay-Z with the S-Dots, the Kanye samples, G-Unit, Pharrell, so like it's a cool kind of phase for Reebok. And I think these are fire. I mean, very similar to the Stan Smith, but a bit more bulky, a bit more like skate vibes, and just sick colorway. And then that was the first Icecream model, and then they came out with the board flip, and this is like the classic board flip, which was the Icecream Reebok skate shoe. So those were supposed to be a bit more like the boutiques. They were supposed to be a bit more premium, a bit more luxe, and those were the skate shoe for Reebok. And I think these are fire. That's like the watermelon colorway. It was in my last year at uni. I was always into sneakers, but without the knowledge or, you know, cultural aspect to it. Like just enjoyed buying shoes, but like not participating in the culture or anything. And then in my final year at uni, I was living in Camden, studying at UCL, so going down like Camden High Street every day, and there's a size, little plug for, which I was, you know, walking by every day. So that kind of started, you know, playing with my mind, like window shopping every day. And that's really when I started, you know, getting into sneakers properly. The first shoe that really like stuck out to me was the Syracuse Dunk that I was seeing. So when I just got into Dunks, Virgil was a huge inspiration as for many of us, and I saw him wearing the Syracuse Dunks, and like that me not knowing much about Dunks at the time, and like that bright orange colorway, like that was that just got me super excited. And my first pair of Dunks was the Danny Supa SB, which is similar to the Syracuse. It just has the blue swoosh. But like when I got that pair, I was just so excited to be, you know, having like my first Dunk, and, you know, wearing it when people weren't yet on the Dunk wave, like it came a few months later. But yeah, that was like my gateway sneaker to like opening that whole Dunk world. So the oldest pair I have is from 1983. It's the Skyforce 3/4, which is, well, the story goes that it's the first pair that Nike sent to Michael Jordan when he was still in college. So, I mean, the story, like, you know, it's difficult to confirm, but there is like a signed pair of Michael Jordan from 83, 84. So I have one of those, obviously not signed by Michael Jordan, but that, or I also have Airships from 84, which was Michael Jordan's first sneaker in the NBA. So yeah, 83, 84. 85 Chicago's, those people always love seeing those. It's a dead stock pair. So that's kind of, you know, what started it all for the culture we know today. And it's pretty crazy that there's still some out there that are dead stock in this condition. These are like the ultimate kind of shoe, you know, to represent sneaker culture nowadays. The actual rarest shoe that I have is one of 10. It's a Heiko Zellman Dunk. He's a German graffiti artist, and he did a little collab with Nike on the Red Laces campaign. I don't know if you remember that. Red Laces was for AIDS awareness with Nike. So that's a very rare shoe, only 10, but like I just stumbled upon them and I was like, this is a cool story, you know, good deal, I'm gonna grab them. But like I wasn't on the hunt for them. Ones that I was really on the hunt for was the Orchard Street Dunks. There's 40 pairs of those in the world, and like one day I was just like, I need to find a pair, and I ended up finding 2 within like 1 month. So at one point I had 2, and one of the pairs I found like from, you know, searching on Instagram with hashtags and then finding posts about them and like finding people commenting under the post saying that they have a pair, and like, you know, really just digging in the Instagram kind of a rabbit hole. So it's always fun like to find stuff like that. So I'm wearing the Newport Pleasure t-shirt. So the Ari Menthol is obviously based on Newport and Nike kind of resemblance. Like that's the Newport logo. So it's a reverse swoosh. So he did a whole project on kind of the resemblance between the way we consume, you know, sneakers and fashion in general, and the way tobacco industry makes us consume cigarettes. And like that's a legendary bootleg, only 250 pairs. He got sued by Newport, and I actually met the guy in New York, so Ari Foreman, who made these shoes. So sick. The packaging is just next level, like a Newport cigarette box. Well, I guess like I've been brainwashed by Nike, but I just aesthetically, it just speaks to me much more. Like, just doesn't feel right for me to be wearing, I don't know, New Balance or like Adidas. For me, it just doesn't, I just don't relate with the, I don't know, the identity. And then within Nike, I just appreciate everything from like basketball, hip hop, street art, like all of that incorporated through like Dunks and Air Force Ones and 85s. Let's see the 85s. 85 powder blues, so Carolinas. Pretty beat, but very, very rare colorway. Pretty cool to have in the archive as well. Well, I think it's just more fun to collect and just be into vintage because the shapes are better. Regular Dunks nowadays really don't do it for me in terms of shape and quality. SBs I think are actually pretty good. Red Lobsters. So the orange Lobsters just came out like a few months ago. The red ones were the first ones. There was the red, then blue, yellow, purple, green, and orange. So yeah, those are the first ones. The history is so rich, and so many more people are into what's coming out now, which I'm less into and I don't follow as much. But it's fun for me to also, like sneakers is a way of, I don't know, standing out and telling something about yourself. All right, so these Reebok, as you can see, custom made for Kanye West. And these are the college dropout Reebok samples. So that's the S. Carter silhouettes. That pair never came out. There was like 4 colorways and only samples. The vintage path, there's more options, to kind of be different, find something cool that people don't know about. Whereas, current stuff, there's that much you can do. So it's just more fun to be like into vintage for me personally. Yeah. So this is the Buck Dunk that most people know. So there's the Buck branding on the back. Buck is the nickname of Phil Knight, Nike CEO, founder of Nike. And the colorway green and yellow based on the Oregon Ducks, because that was his university. And this is, you can see like a bit different laces, different shape, and basically this was a made in Brazil Nike SB, and there were only 400 pairs of these. So I love having both and kind of being able to, you know, tell that story. And like when I posted these on Instagram, a lot of people were like, these are fake, like the laces are off, the tongue is off and everything, but actually all the made in Brazil dunks were a bit different just because it was different factories and different materials and stuff. But these are, you know, much more rare than those, but people just don't know about these. Suddenly, you know, dunks are on everyone's feet in the street, whether you're a sneakerhead or not. Like, it's a very available silhouette, and that's cool. Like, you know, it's an easy to wear. Like, I'm not surprised. But I realized that like Air Force Ones for some reason resonate even more with me, and like recently I've just been buying Air Force Ones and barely ever wearing dunks. These are pretty legendary Air Force Ones. So that was the like most limited version with the spider web on the toe box, and this was the clown Mr. Cartoon version. And then there's a third one, which is the LIVESTRONG. Yeah, so this one, this was the original from 2005, 2004, yeah, 2004, and this is 2009. Pretty cool as well. I'll always love dunks and have some, but something about the Air Force One kind of, at least right now, I guess it might be phases, but like, yeah, the Air Force One for me, above the dunk in my personal kind of rotation experience. I love the FLOM dunks. That FL stamp just, you know, does something. So that pair is part of the LIVESTRONG pack, which was the Lance Armstrong Foundation. These are based on the original FLOMs, which are like one of the rarest SBs and most expensive ones as well. And you know, that's the next best thing you can afford. The originals go for like 60,000, and these are more like 1.5, 2,000. So yeah, these are sick. But the most fun is when you find something that really people, like even IDs, Nike IDs from back in the day, you had so many great options, great materials and colorways, and like they're essentially one of ones. These are kind of similar to the What the Dunks, a bit, like there's a vibe. There were only 214 pairs, only came out in New York, and it was like a Nike ID program where they were showing the different options you had in terms of like materials. So you have like ostrich leather, nubuck, crocodile skin, suede, this like snake skin. So they were kind of, the Soul Collector magazine was kind of partnered on that event, and they came up with this kind of What the Dunk vibe with all the materials and colors. One of the craziest dunks, but that's not an SB, just regular dunk. And it's a lot of fun, like finding those and surprising people with like, wow, like I've never seen this shoe with this colorway, these materials, and most hyped or recognized, you know, shoe, but it just has that wow effect, you know.